Hey, she says. Okay, so the cow's getting excited, you know. The calves, you look around, they don't have any internet. This is their excitement, okay? And this is real exciting today. All these people. This daily move. Let's get a little treat of the alfalfa. This is big time. My little, okay, so I'm having problems. It wouldn't be farming without problems. Yeah. Tell yourself that.
There it is.
I went to see Joel once at Polyface Farm, and we were walking around, we were filming something or another. And we were walking in between things, like, you know, like we just did. We walked from the barn up here, we were walking between something. And he said, "You ever run out of material for your vlog?" Because I put out a lot of vlogs. We're at like 2,700 vlogs. Yeah. And I said, "Joel, do I ever run out of problems?" He laughed. All right, there we go. Now we got a swampy area here, but thank goodness that's coming from the top of the mountain, and that water just keeps on coming. So this is not like I'm draining the well or anything. Hey, who thought it was this steep?
No.
Did not realize it was this steep.
I don't know how I'm going to communicate that better, because everybody comes here and then they're like, "This is a lot steeper than it looks." And what about up there, guys? Yeah, it just keeps even getting steeper. So it's about 30. We're on about a 30% grade right here. Up there, it's about 35%. That's about as steep as I want to go. So we're clearing in woods anywhere that's this steep or less for pasture. So what I got to do this morning is we're going to get the non-milkers over to the next paddock, and then they won't bother us when we milk everybody that's left. We have the Honey's little calf separated so that the milk has built up overnight, and she'll actually have milk. There's Honey right there on the right, and there's Vanilla walking down the, hopefully that's foreshadowing of all the vanilla ice cream. Kids learn all about bowel movement, birth, death, birds and the bees. Cows don't care. They're broad daylight. If you're getting cows, you're most likely going to have to deal with your most dominant cow first. Not most likely. You're going to have to deal with your most dominant cow first. So we're going to have to get Stud Muffin moving. She won't pass him. There's some rule. It's some unwritten rule. A subordinate does not pass a dominant. I had to learn that the hard way. Same thing with milking. You want to milk your dominant one first. There got all kinds of problems if you don't. They'll get jealous. They'll try to. If you put the subordinate cow in that stanchion, and the dominant cow was out, it would come and bother her, and she wouldn't be able to escape because she's in the net. You know, she's in the stanchion.
Do you keep the bull in here all year round, or just?
Yeah, the bull's here all year round. So they'll have a baby, and then as soon as she's able to come back into heat, they come into what you call heat every 3 weeks, and then every 3 weeks for about 3 days, and then for 12 hours of that, she'll stand still for him. And breed her. She'll 9 months. She's got a baby. She has a baby, and usually it takes them 3, 6, 12 weeks for them to come into heat again. And so we feel like whenever she can come in heat again, he can have at it. Honey's had a baby, and then 3 months later, Vanilla's had a baby. And you have to have babies to have milk, so we end up always being in milk. If you only have one milk cow, she don't care dairy cows, the ultimate food preservation. It's food on hoof. It's milk on tap. No canning, no freezing. Just go out there and get some milk. And a gallon a day, just a gallon a day would be 8 pounds a day. After we milk, we're going to move these cows with everybody else. We don't need to take the stanchion because they have trees over there. They don't need shade. We'll just milk them in the field. And then these steers are a castrated male intended for meat, a male cow. And then the sheep will come and get this paddock. And the sheep are good for eating what the cows didn't eat. They like the more brambly stuff, the more weedy stuff. They actually eat each other's parasites. Cows eat and digest parasites that would harm sheep, and it dies in their system, and vice versa for the sheep. Take the first few squirts out. Remember I talked to you about the bacteria in the tip? We're going to just, what do you call that, strip it? We're going to get it going out, all right? You went down? When you're milking, you actually don't want to pull down. A lot of people come out here and they're pulling on the sheet. I'm like, no, just squeeze. What I'm doing here is I'm grabbing a teat and I'm cutting off. I'm first squeezing at the top, and then I'm doing like this.
And you roll it.
I'm going down, squeezing as I go. You learn that technique. I mean, you can get it done at first, just squeezing. But basically, imagine a balloon. You're trying to get water out of it, but you don't. You've got to block. She's only got this little tip at the end. So you've got to block the milk from going back up. So that's why you pinch it off the top, and then you squeeze with the bottom parts of your hand. Hey, don't cry over spilt milk. You heard that? Well, the reservoir helps you not do that. Because if now she steps in it, we've at least gotten some. You ever heard they kicked the bucket? And you're talking about they're dead? Well, if she kicks this bucket, it's over. Okay? You ever heard of milk it for all it's worth? Yeah, come on. All these farm sayings. I'm milking it for all it's worth right now. That means you're getting all the milk out of there. Because if you don't, I mean, you'll have less food. She'll start producing less, but she could also get mastitis. So milk it for all it's worth. And the bull is an American Milky Devon. So that bull brings in hardiness and meatiness, and these guys bring in the milk production. So those two breeding together are gonna make a really fine offspring. And she'll, you know, we'll get her test to see if she's A2A2. What A2A2 means, the beta casein protein, that it basically makes the milk more digestible. Have you ever heard of people who can't digest cow's milk, but they can goat's milk? That's because all goat's milk is A2A2. All human milk is A2A2, but not all cows is. So we get an A2A2 cow. Stud Muffin's not though. He's an A1, A2. So that little heifer there got a 50-50 chance.
Gotcha.
But that would make a fine. We'd love to either sell them or raise them up for ourselves. It's gonna make a fine family cow. It's gonna be real hardy, and it's going to give a lot of milk. It might not give as much as a Jersey, but it's not going to get the mastitis. It's going to eat a bigger variety of grass. So homesteaders, you got to think different than normal builders. because you spend a lot of time outside and you spend a lot of time at home. You need a big pantry, so it needs to be bigger than a normal pantry because you're going to put canning and other kinds of good in there. You maybe want a place for a future root cellar, so maybe you want a basement. So you guys got to think about that as you homestead. You do want some modern amenities. Of course, you want the grid, I imagine, but you also want the internet. There's so much power and tools in the internet. It's absolutely amazing. I can't imagine if my grandpa, who first farmed this land, could have Onyx hunt and see wherever he is on the property, find his property line, know where to put up his fence, have Leaf Snap, the app, and figure out what any kind of tree or plant is. Maybe he would actually use the level that you can get on your phone. He maybe would have leveled the old barn over there, but it seemed to work out okay. Now we have about 12 acres of pasture, and that's not quite enough for this amount of animals. It's certainly not for feeding them all winter. So what if I want to get to a stockpile system where I don't even have to get hay? Right now we have to get hay. So two acres per cow in this climate east of the Mississippi if you're going to feed hay in the winter. 5 acres per cow if you don't want to feed hay in the winter and you want to stockpile like Greg Judy or somebody like that. Okay, stockpile means about this time of the year you would rest the pasture and you would graze other places, and it grows up and stops growing about Thanksgiving, but you have enough there, and it's there, and you just graze that then in the winter. So with all the, I'm 44, and I think through COVID that was the first time food shortages entered my vernacular. So then that could be something that is real, not even in an emergency. There could be a plug up in grain at New Country Organic or whatever from a drought or whatever. It doesn't even have to be this like big doomsday event. And then on our health journey, we're realizing we're wanting to eat more and more ruminants, which are animals that don't eat grain. And so we're like, following our heart, let's clear more pasture so that we can have more ruminants. And you don't have to worry about grain or any outside. They don't care when the power goes out. They don't care when it's raining real hard. They don't care who's president. Right. They don't care. They just keep on pooping and keep on producing milk and keep on mating like there's no tomorrow. And we're going to take advantage of that. And get more grass, because if the grass is not growing, we got real big problems. It's over. Okay, if the sun's not shining and the grass is not growing, it's over anyway, and there's not anything we can do. So we're transitioning to more and more ruminants. And what's cool about this, you saw that skim milk at the pigs. In a minute, I'm going to take this milk, I'm going to filter it out, I'm going to run it through a filter, and I'm going to put milk in there. And milk's sitting in there, and then about that much cream in a half-a-gallon jar is going to develop. And I'm going to scoop that off, and I'll have cream. So first of all, the kids drink the milk, fresh off hoof, no need to store it. Then we make yogurt. That's the next easiest thing. And then we drink cream. And we make ice cream from our cream. And then if we have any left over, then you can make butter with that cream. And then eventually you could get into cheeses. So many different things. But the blessing is you harvest that cream, maybe a quarter of it, a third of it is cream. What do you do with the rest? It's skim. People don't know this, but nothing will fatten somebody more than skim. You need that whole milk. Fat doesn't create fat, okay? Fat doesn't make you fat. You need that whole milk. But you take that skim, what are you going to do with all that skim? Pigs. Then the pigs can also end up, you could throw pigs manure and they could wallow in it. We did that when pigs were in the pig port. They actually eat some of it. Cows are not good digesters. It's nature's greatest miracle, turning that kind of stuff into bacon and sausage. Dead chickens, whatever. So I got to, one time we were getting feeder pigs in the spring and harvesting them in the fall, and that's great for a beginner. That's how we started. But then you have cows, and you're like, the pigs are gone. What are we going to do with all the skim milk? So then we started doing pigs all year round, and we barely feed not that big old pig and his mate, Beefcake, and Mrs. Cake, anything. We feed them our garden scraps, we feed them our skim milk and our kitchen scraps, every once in a while we have to supplement with feed. So if you're gonna have dairy cow, you're gonna want a couple of cows. Back in the day, in the old timers in the old time dairy business, if you had dairy cows, you had pigs, because you had a free source of food for them. You guys know me. You actually do know me. This is what's called parasocial relationship. They actually have a name for that kind of relationship now. But I don't know you. But you do really know me. This is like a new kind of reality TV show. But we're going to change that. And that's okay, and it's not awkward. You actually acknowledging that relationship and idea makes it a lot less awkward. When you come up and you say, is it weird? I know you, but you don't know me. That's not weird. It's weird when you come up and you don't tell me your name because you just assume that I know you. And I'm pumping gas, and you come up and you just start talking to me like we're old friends, and I'm thinking, who is this?
But we are.
High school. Who is this guy? Is this a fan? Is this somebody from North Hampshire where I went to school and generate my brain? That's then when it gets awkward. It gets real awkward when you come unannounced and knock on our door.